I'm Ryan from ExtremeTerrain.com, and this is my review and installation of the RedRock 4x4 Stubby Front Bumper with Stinger. This is the non-winch mount version of this bumper, fitting all 1987 to 2006 Wranglers. There's also a winch version of this bumper available if you want to be able to run a winch on your Jeep without any additional hardware. Today we're going to talk through the installation of this bumper, which is a very simple 1 out of 3 wrench install. This is going to take you about an hour. You won't need any specialty tools, but we'll talk more about the installation in just a second. We're also going to talk through the construction and a few of the features of this bumper. Adding an aftermarket front bumper to your Wrangler is going to give you some additional off-road features, a little bit more protection than your factory front bumper, and also change up the look of your Jeep. And if you're looking for a bumper that has some additional recovery points, but not a lot of other bells and whistles, and you really like this stubby Stinger look, this is going to be an inexpensive and easy to install option for you to take a look at. Now, a Stinger bumper is obviously shorter than your factory bumper. The frame rails are here, so this only has a small section that sticks out past those frame rails. And what that allows is if you have big tires on your Jeep, you're off-road, you can come right up to a ledge, right up to an obstacle, and have the tire contact that obstacle without the bumper being in the way. It also, as I said before, does give you a little bit more of that off-road aggressive look. Now, the most prominent visual feature on this bumper is going to, of course, be the Stinger. Now, the original purpose of a Stinger was for those hardcore off-road situations where you're coming down off of a ledge and you might actually flip forward. The Stinger was designed to hit the ground and push you to one side or the other, keeping you on your wheels instead of having you flip over. Another purpose of a tall Stinger is that if you were to roll over on your side, the Stinger would support the weight of the vehicle instead of having it crush down on your core support, destroying your radiator and ending your day. Now, most of the Stingers you'll find on bumpers today aren't that beefy. They can't support that much weight. They're really more for the look, and I think that this Stinger falls into that category. Now, this is welded, it does have some gussets in it, but the gussets are more for looks than anything else. I don't think most of you are going to be using your Stinger bumper for what it was intended for. Most of us don't do that sort of hardcore wheeling. If you are, I would probably look for a Stinger that is a little bit more substantial, that has a bit of a stronger connection to the bumper itself. But if you're just looking for a Stinger because you like the look of it, I think this is going to be a good choice. This bumper weighs in at right around 77 pounds, which is going to be a little bit lighter than some of the other bumpers of a similar design. And that is thanks to the use of 5/32 inch steel. It's going to be a little bit thinner than some of the other bumpers, which can mean a little bit less protection, but in my opinion, this is still going to be plenty strong, and you won't get as much sag out of your front end because you're not hanging as much weight up there. So I actually like the fact that this is a slightly thinner steel, still getting good protection, but a little bit lighter weight. The Stinger tube itself is 2-inch, 0.12-inch wall thickness steel, and the whole bumper is covered in a textured black powder coat finish. As you can see, other than that, this is a very, very simple bumper. It has some D-ring mounts that, of course, are welded through and bolt pretty much directly to your frame rails, giving you plenty of strength. The bumper does come with the D-ring, so that's not something you have to purchase separately, but there aren't going to be a lot of other frills with this bumper. As we said before, this is a flat top bumper. This does not have the winch mount built into it. That bumper is available as well, but this doesn't have a winch mount. It doesn't have any lights on it. It doesn't have any high lift jacking points. It doesn't have a lot of those other features that some other bumpers do, but this is also going to be a little bit less expensive than those other bumpers. So if that's what you're looking for, I think that this is a good choice. Getting this bumper bolted up to your Wrangler is going to be a very simple process, and like I said before, I am giving it 1 out of 3 wrenches, and you should be able to get this done in about an hour. The first step in the process is going to be removing the bolts that hold the factory front bumper in place. There are going to be 2 bolts in the top of each frame rail and 1 in the bottom for a total of 6 bolts that you'll have to remove. Once those are removed, you can simply pull the front bumper off the Jeep and set the new one over the frame rails. You'll then use the included hardware to bolt this down and you're finished. Again, just some traditional hand tools in about an hour's time, and anybody can get this installed in their driveway. I think that you do get a good bit of value for the price you have to pay for this bumper. This comes in at right around $280, which isn't a lot of money for a front bumper, especially when you consider some of the other bumpers on the market. Now, as we said before, this doesn't have a ton of features, lights, jack mount points, but it does have recovery points, and it has the Stinger. Overall, I think it's a well-built bumper. The powder coat finish on it looks pretty solid. So I do think you're getting a good bit of value. I think that this is worth the price. So if you're looking for a simple stubby Stinger front bumper for your TJ or your YJ, I think this is going to be an inexpensive and easy to install option. So that's my review of the RedRock 4x4 Stubby Front Bumper with Stinger, fitting all 1987 to 2006 Wranglers that you can find right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.